This surveillance video from the Washington County Jail shows Mary Renaga's brother being beaten by 4 inmates, including Javonte Willis, less than a week before investigators say Willis raped his cellmate. Kelly Holloway was sent to the hospital with a broken nose, where he received 10 stitches and 4 staples. The sheriff's office says one of the attackers found out Holloway was being held on a child molestation charge. The attackers found out Holloway was being held on a child molestation charge. The attackers found out Holloway was being held on a child molestation charge, using a PIN number printed on his bracelet.
They can be targeted, particularly if it's a child victim. Some inmates will try to dish out vigilante justice.
Chief Deputy Jay Cantrell says the guards didn't notice the attack until after it was over.
They can see into the pod, and then they have cameras that they monitor. But, you know, they're monitoring a third of that pod. One guy is, or one employee. So, yeah, you know, things can get out of hand pretty quickly.
Another person wrote in and asked us, I want to know what really happened to child molesters in prison, and as a prisoner, are you obligated to split a molester's wig? Pretty much, if you know a person's a child molester, if you know, you have to let other people know. Because if people find out that you were hanging out with a guy who was a child molester and you didn't tell somebody, you're going to get your wig split. So if you're out there touching on kids, or you're a child molester, or you got busted for having sex with underage, teenagers, whatever the case may be, you go to prison, somebody's going to find out about what you're locked up for, whether it's a guard who don't like you, who tells somebody else what you're in there for, or somebody has a person on the street, go online and check your paperwork. But one way or the other, they're going to find out you're a child molester, and you're going to get your wig split. So if you find out that the guy's a child molester, you might as well just slap him upside the head and split his wig yourself, so you don't get your wig split. So that's what happens to child molesters. They get their head busted. So the subway boy, you're going to get your head busted while you're getting to prison.
Welcome to the Advice Show, media with the common sense approach. So there was a father that caught an 18-year-old man in the act of molesting his son. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Bruised and beaten, you'd think whoever did this to that young man would be in trouble, but instead, that young man is the one in jail. A father beat up the 18-year-old when he found him sexually abusing his young son. Fox's Kelly Joyce reports.
This is what one father did to a man accused of sexually attacking his son. That Daytona father called 911 early this morning after the beating.
I just walked in and found a grown man molesting, and I got him in a bloody puddle for you right now, officer.
The 35-year-old father tells the 911 operator he just left for a little while, and when he came back, he says he thought he heard something in a back bedroom.
I looked away and I said, "What's going on?" And he stood up and his pants fell around his ankles. I knew what was going on, and I did whatever he had a right to, except I didn't kill him.
Police showed up to find 18-year-old Raymond Frolander unconscious on the floor. He went to the hospital, then was taken to the jail and faced a judge today. Police Chief Mike Chitwood says Frolander admitted to sexually battering the boy for the past 3 years. Chief Mike Chitwood says Frolander admitted to sexually battering the boy for the past 3 years. Chief Mike Chitwood says Frolander admitted to sexually battering the boy for the past 3 years.
You think to yourself, here's a young man whose innocence was taken away from him. You know, 8 to 11-year-olds should be outside riding their bike and playing sports and playing video games, not, cowering and being in fear.
Police say the father will not face any charges for the beating because he was protecting his son as a crime was being committed.
I think the father did what any father wanted to do.
The judge today gave Frolander no bond on the sexual battery charges, and we learned he just turned 18 last month. In Volusia County, Kelly Joyce, Fox 13 News.
See this motherfucker right here? I want to give a special shout out to the inmates that killed this dude. Kevin, how could you give a shout out to somebody that killed somebody? In the same breath how he can brag about fucking a 13-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying? Fucking her mind up. Yes, this dude was in prison for raping a kid, and he was bragging about it. So some inmates confronted him in his cell, cut his ass open, and pulled his insides out and killed him. Now I know it sounds crazy and corrupt that I would like something like that. I am not no killer. I don't like people to die. But if you do something wrong, to somebody heinous like raping a child or a woman or anybody of that nature, especially a child, I think you should die. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you probably just killed their insides. You know, why should we give a fuck about yours? He was only doing 4 years in the penitentiary for that. So in 4 years, he can come out and fuck another child and fuck a child's brain up or insides out or create another pedophile. So I'm happy for the inmates that took this motherfucker out. You lucky I don't know who the inmates are, or I would send them some money on their canteen. Like, hey, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? That is what's up. Because anytime you rape somebody and you go to jail and brag about it, you just telling the inmates, fuck you. I do what I want. I can rape motherfuckers. We all know the old saying. You rape somebody in jail or you beat a woman in jail, you go to jail for that, they fucking you up. Okay? They gonna fuck you up. And he didn't make it out. So I have no sympathy for this dude, you know. My heart goes out to the 13-year-old girl and her family, you know, who had to endure this crisis situation with this dude right here. But guess what? He's in a better place now, not on this fucking earth. I'm getting out of here and I'm finna enjoy the rest of my day. And I don't care what y'all think. Some of y'all might think I'm crazy, but you know I'm not at all. That's just how I stand. I think the justice system should have got rid of him, but they didn't do it, so we got people that's in the justice system that got rid of him. I'm gone. Let me get out of here though. I'm excited because it's Monday.